and welcome to another episode of Those Two I Am Guys with myself, James Kennedy, and my co-host, Tony Earp. Tony,
yeah, morning,
how
James.
are you?
How are you today? Are you okay?
I'm great, buddy. We're talking about something that's my wheelhouse in particular, something that I love, and it's all about branding. So this is one that I can really, I'm going to take the lead on.
Okay.
And
well, after our last SEO episode, I won't reciprocate and fall asleep on you. Okay?
promise.
I promise.
It's exciting stuff, Brandon. I love branding.
no, brand. Yeah. On a serious note, branding. First of all, hi to our viewers and listeners. But yeah, as James said, this episode is all about branding, and it is super important, of course. Yeah.
Awesome. And again, I get so excited I forgot to say hello to you all as well. So apologies for that. But this is one of these things that I really get a buzz about, because I've branded so many people over the years, from friends that had a hobby idea and then now they're full-time businesses and making fortunes. I had one friend talking about how much money he was making yesterday come in and visit me. And again, he was a part-time postman a while ago. And it's just great to see people growing and how the brand helps them, And I emulated a brand in America to help him with a brand here in the UK to create something similar, kind of family feel. And that's what I want to go into first of all. Branding. If you are going to start branding your company, there's so many people now starting a business and they don't really have any direction. They think, oh, I want a logo. What is it I do? Oh, I fit windows, so I want a window fitting logo. And it's like, right, okay, right. There's millions and millions of window glazing type companies out there. That's not really exciting. What makes you stand out from them? Let me know about your personality and let's know how you run your business. And when I get a feel for that, like, what's your favorite colors and blah, blah, blah. It's all about getting the feel for the color scheme, the people, and trying to kind of put that into the logo and the branding of the business. So when we talk about branding, it's not just a logo or a Facebook page or a graphic design thing, but also, for those of you who are listening to a podcast right now, you've listened to some audio branding at the start. You're listening to Those Two I Am Guys, podcast, right? That's audio branding. When you hear that, it's us. It's got bangs and whistles and noises, and there's certain little kind of tunes and things like that that are going in there, little vibrations that you're going to know. As soon as you hear that, you're going to think of us, rightly or wrongly. Is it good? Is it bad? I think it's a good thing. You're going to be thinking when you hear a wee tune like that, oh, that's like Tony and James's podcast tune. And that's what we're hoping to create within the visuals as well as the audio branding. So
yeah, I think, James, a lot of people forget that, in this day and age, is that they think of branding as purely visual.
Yeah.
And it's certainly not, as you say, with podcasts being extremely popular, and they're only going to continue to be so. Audio branding is like equally as important.
Yeah, massive, but nobody really thinks about it. In all fairness, I'm quite a visual person myself. So as I say, when we were speaking before we actually started the show, you reminded me about audio branding. I'm like, gosh, I know, I created the audio branding for this. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, because it obviously anything online is so visually based, isn't it?
It is.
When you think of a business, you think of a logo.
You do
instantly, don't you? If you look at some of the top brands online, James, and this is a top tip, guys, before you start branding your business product or service, go and look at some of the top brands out there today, your Apples, your Coca-Colas, your Pepsis, etc. And if you look at any piece of content they ever have online, whether it's on a social media channel, in a post, on their branding for their social media channels, their logo, their website, what's the one thing you'll notice that's continuous throughout all of that? And it's the branding, James, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And one thing to remember as well, simplicity. See, if you look at the biggest brands out there, like the Nike swoosh, the Apple. Now, at one time, Apple's logo was much more complicated than what it is right now. The Apple was still the same Apple, but it was. You remember it, Tony?
I've actually seen it recently online, James, and I'm not even joking, you guys. Go and Google it, because it is available openly on the internet to have a look at. It looks like a 5-year-old child, drawn it.
Yeah, yeah. So it was, and again, it was more complicated than what the real logo was, because it looked like the original one was multicolored. It was like pride, almost like a pride flag with a bit of an apple out of it, and it did
look like a scroll thing at the bottom, didn't it? It's black. The one I saw was black and white, so I don't know whether we're talking about a different
right. Maybe we're talking about a different one.
They've been through some, obviously,
several
transformations over the years.
Absolutely,
and they've tried different branding concepts. But the one I saw was the very, very, very first one. And honestly, James, it looked like a 5-year-old child had drawn it. It's that bad.
Well, as I say, the one that I was thinking was the one that they have technically now, but it was in all slices of different colours all the way through it. So it was like, you can almost imagine the kind of rainbow colours.
Yeah, I know which one you mean. This is way before that. This is to the early days of the business,
when it was the Apple abacus, the eye abacus.
it literally is like a bit of an abacus, yeah. But even I think what this highlights is that even a fantastic company like Apple, who've obviously got their branding so right today, they didn't always get it right at the beginning. They've gone through that process of learning as they go along, and then creating a strong brand from that. Yeah,
absolutely. And that's the thing. I mean, these big companies, when you start making billions upon billions of dollars, transformation is not a problem, because you've got the money to throw at the advertising to change it. But people that I'm talking to just now, I would expect you are new businesses, small to medium businesses, and you don't have millions of dollars to throw at rebranding yourself once you're well established. So what I want everybody to think about right now is the end in mind. Before you start, think about where you want to end up. What does your brand look like 2 years, 3 years, 5 years from now? If you're looking at a business and you're thinking about, you don't want to be in business in 5 years' time, you want to be a gazillionaire and you want to be flying to the moon because you made so much money, then wake up. Okay, it's going to be, I'm not going to say it's a struggle. Not everybody struggles in businesses, and some really hit big with a great creative idea first time around. But most of us, I mean, I would say I've probably got at least a couple of hundred business ventures under my belt over the years, from starting out from being like kind of 15, 16 and kind of going through. A lot of people tell me that I'm really lucky. I've been so successful in life with all the different things that I've done and been successful at. They didn't see the hundreds of things that I failed at. And that's the thing that I always find very funny, because
there's not many entrepreneurs, James, that have got success that have not had a few failures along the way. That's where you learn the most about yourself, if nothing else.
Fail often and fail fast.
Yep.
If you've got that mentality, you know that you're going to fail. That's good. That you're going to learn from that. And again, I'm quite happy to reveal this on the call. Yesterday, I've got a product that I'm launching just now, and there was something that I skipped over at the very start of the process, and was so deeply immersed in the product that I couldn't see the problem until me and Tony went on a call yesterday, and it was as plain as the nose in my face, and I could have kicked myself because the work that I put in to other elements of that problem, and it was something to do with the branding, and hence why we kind of really wanted to kind of get this out here when it was fresh in my mind. So, and I appreciate that
as well. Yeah, I mean that's a totally relevant to obviously this episode of branding, what we're talking about, what we discussed yesterday. And as you said, you were that close to your own project that you couldn't see what was obvious in front of your eyes, really, could you?
Couldn't see the woods for the trees.
Yeah, this is really important when you're starting to create a brand, guys. Don't just create one concept. Create 3, 4, 5, 6 different concepts. And because you're so close to your business, get people from outside of your business to give you genuine, honest feedback on which one they prefer. Mm-hmm. Because remember, they could potentially be your customers in the future.
Absolutely. And remember, you don't need to take everybody's advice on board, but you need to look at it objectively, because if you get 5 or 6 people to tell you, and you fell in love with one of the brands or one of the looks, and everybody's telling you that it's not that one, or 3 or 4 are thinking the other one, then there's a reason there.
We're not saying for 1 second, James, that we don't want people to continue being creative. Of course we do. You know, you've got to be, guys. So make sure, be creative. We love that. We're creative people ourselves.
Absolutely.
But if you think about sales pages and landing pages and websites, James, you split test different things, don't you?
Absolutely. Well, I don't. That's what I've got you for.
Well,
Tony.
you're a very naughty boy. You should do, shouldn't you?
Yeah, as I say, but again, guys, just when I say that, I mean, I don't do projects on my own. I know that there was something I learned many, many years ago from an incredible guy called Thomas J. Leonard, who was the guy that started Coachville. And he kind of more or less told me that he used to try and be perfect at everything. And he realized that he wasn't perfect at everything. So he concentrated on the things that he was perfect at. He made more money doing the things he was perfect at, and he paid or partnered with people to do the things that he was not good at. And I've learned so much from that guy.
Yeah, I agree with that. But whether you set all the split testing up yourself, James, or whether you outsource that, I think we can both say it's critical to split test.
Yeah? Absolutely.
And it's exactly the same with branding. You know, if you're only asking the opinion on one concept, you're not really they've got nothing to compare it to, have they?
Nothing whatsoever.
So at the beginning, do multiple branding concepts, guys, and get outside feedback, people that are not close to your business.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Tony, what I'm going to do is we're going to do this episode, and I'm going to apologise to our podcast listeners just now. This episode is going to be quite a visual one, because what we don't usually do is we don't usually have any visuals going on, and what we're talking about is usually as good for you guys in the podcast as it is for those on the actual show. However, this being quite a visual subject, I really wanted to kind of go in and have a bit of fun with it. And Tony doesn't know about this, but I'm going to ask Tony in just a few moments for a business that he's going to pull out his head randomly. And genuinely, we've not discussed this, Tony.
Nope. It's a total surprise to me.
Right. I know Tony doesn't like surprises. That's why.
Thanks for dropping that on me, James. Cheers.
Well, I just want to do this just to show you how creative you can be without actually being artistic, because I cannot draw for toffee. My writing skills are very poor, but I've got creative ideas. I've got a great imagination, and I can pull things together. So what I want you to do now, Tony, is I want you to think of any kind of random type of business. Okay, anyone.
Oh God. Let me have a think. It's going to be something, obviously, that could be a legitimate business, I take it.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, something.
You don't want me to come up with something completely stupid now.
I mean, it could be local businesses. It could be an online thing. It could be whatever. It could be anything at all. Any type of business, from online or offline. I don't want you to be selling like shoelace fixers at the end of the shoelace or whatever.
Okay, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's go. One of the big trends online in the last year or so has been CBD oil.
CBD oil. Okay,
so let's go with that.
Right, let's go with CBD oil. So for those people that are living in Dubai and things like that, this is probably not a good one for you. As I say, we just seen a guy on television bringing CBD oil into Dubai, and he's got 25 years for it. But it is quite a trend just now for people starting to go down the holistic route of pain therapy, pain management, and I'm aware of this stuff as well. I've even tried it. Tastes awful, works very well. But let's go with that, Tony. So I'm now going to share my screen, and I'm going to share the resources. Guys, the resources I'm sharing with you today are the resources that I use personally.
Just so we can confirm, guys, we're not being, I didn't choose that in any way to be political or anything. It's purely, I see that as a business trend online in the last year to 18 months.
Okay.
And not something I've personally, not a niche that's of interest to me, but it's something that James will be able to work with. Yeah.
So I'll give you another opportunity. Do you want to still stick with that, or do you want to go with something else? Your choice.
Oh, I'll tell you what. Let's change it for the sake of
PC
political debate. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Let's go with gutter cleaning services.
Right. So that would be based around about roofs. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Right. So I'm going to share my screen with you now. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Right, so now we are on my screen, and you can see that, Tony. Yeah, so
I can. Yeah,
I'm on a page here called Digital Juice. This is a tool that I use, and I can look at that in a minute. But that's not the first tool I'm going to take you to. I'm going to take you to the cheaper ones, because I think the cheaper ones we can actually use, but I'm going to show you the ones that I've got access to. Actually, I've got many more than these, but these are the ones that I use predominantly. So first and foremost, every single person here can set up a free account on Canva. Okay, so that's canva.com. That's CANVA. That's Charlie Alpha November Victor Alpha.com. Okay,
Glad you did it that way, James, because of your obvious Scottish accent.
Yeah, I think it's probably better for my people. I'm a bit blocked up just now as well. It must be the cold coming on. I don't know. So we're going to create a design, and I'm just going to go in here. I'm going to type in logo. Okay, so logo, right? So we'll pop on logo there. So that gives us a nice square platform to work with, and now we're going to work with gutter. Right? Let's see if we can find anything with gutter. No. I didn't think so.
You have to try roof, James. Oh, yeah,
roofing. Yeah. Right. Okay. So now, here's some beautifully simplistic designs that have come up here for roofing. Right now, these elements on this platform cannot really be changed, but I'm going to show you a simple way that you can do things with them. For example, if, you wanted, right? Okay. So I'm trying to see what one I kind of like the feel for personally. Right, so this one looks quite cool, right? It's a bit serious, but I'm going to change it up and I'm going to make it fun. All right, so now, right, okay, so that's a paid one, right? I wonder if it'll allow me to fill that. So, if it allows me to change the color, right? It's not going to allow me because this is a paid version. Am I in the right account? Let me just check. Right. Okay. I'm very fortunate that my wife has got an account as well. Okay. I'm going to start this one. I'm going to log out, go back to home. I think I'm in the wrong one. I'm in my own basic one. So I'm going to go into my account here. Okay.
When you search, James, try searching for roofing repairs or something.
Right. Okay. So let's do that again. So we're starting again.
Let's see if that throws anything up better on the search.
Okay. So roofing repairs. No. It's usually quite basic on Canva, to be honest, but we're going to show you how you can make something good of this. Right. So this time we've got that roof, and hopefully that will come over. Yeah, it came over fine this time. So I don't like that color. Right, so I'm going to make this, first of all, I want to make this background, I want to delete the background. I don't like the background. Okay, and I don't like the text being that color, so I'm going to make the text the same color as that. Okay, but I don't like that text either, so I'm going to change that. So let's see, I'm going to have a look for fonts. Forum. Right, so let's see if they have got Glasgow. Right, okay, because Glasgow is a nice font. Right, okay, so I'm going to change this to as go gutters, right? And that's quite a kind of visceral language here in Glasgow in Scotland. Glasgow gutters. That's something that people will remember. Okay.
So if you were creating that for a local business in Scotland,
yes,
obviously gutters would be instantly recognisable to prospective customers. Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, so that's how that would be. And this is what I'm trying to create. I'm creating a brand for someone local to me. Okay, in actual fact, that font isn't the one that I would like. I would like the Rennie Macintosh. Yeah, but I don't know if I can get that here. Right, so let's try. Oh, Rennie. Right, so it's not available. That's fine. I was just trying to find something that was, let's go Scottish or Celtic. Right, so I'm still thinking that's too. I'm trying to create a fun environment, because if you think of somebody that's running a gutter business, they're a kind of hands-on labourer type person. they're probably not going to be minding their P's and Q's that well. And people in Glasgow, to explain the kind of people in Glasgow, mostly, they're all kind of down to earth people, rough and ready, good fun people. So they're probably looking for a kind of a fun type font. Okay, so let's go with something fun.
I've been to Glasgow on a few occasions, James. It's certainly fun.
Right, you know it. Right. So look at that font there, wedges. That's more what that looks like. Yeah. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Glasgow gutters. So we've done that, and now we could try and find a mascot if you wanted. Now I personally wouldn't, but you could put something here like a builder if you wanted. I think simple is always best, and I'll tell you why. Someone that's running a gutter business is probably going to have polo shirts and workwear. This is one color, easy to be embroidered. Okay, so that's something to think about as well. If it's a local business and you're building a logo for a local business, then this is something that could be embroidered in one color and will save that client a lot of money. You put that on a black or a dark blue shirt or something like that, or even a white shirt for that matter, this is going to pop. Okay, Glasgow gutters. So we're going to download that, and we're going to download it as a transparent background. Okay, now that logo, as you see, took virtually no time to do at all. Now, this is the benefit if you do upgrade to the Pro version. You can resize to a business card, and you can now use that logo and create other things as well. So you can resize the design, and now you could create this person a full branding kit from in the platform here. You could create business cards, and obviously you don't actually need to print them, but you can always download them as well. So there's lots you can do within Canva. It's basic, but we've got a logo. So let's go to where I prefer to make things. I'm a member of this platform called Creative Fabrica. Okay, and this is going to be a mouthful if we're going to do this phonetically. Charlie, Romeo, Echo, Alpha, Tango, India, Victor, Echo, Foxtrot, Alpha, Bravo, Romeo, India, Charlie, Alpha.com. Okay, and we're going to put in roof, and let's see what comes up, because this has got lots of different stuff. So if we go roofing logo, this is going to find us something better, I would think, or something that I could definitely work with. Right, so there we go. There's a hugely complicated design, but looks well. But again, there's lots of different options here. Now, I'm looking here, and let's go to most relevant, but go to newest first. I always find the newer ones tend to be kind of usually a bit more modern. So look at this.
I am paying attention. I was actually just looking for another tool that I'm aware of that I can't remember the name of.
Okay.
But I'll try and think of it while you're continuing with this, yeah?
Right, so I'm looking at this one, and I like this one here. Right, so this one here, I quite like, right? So this has got black and green. I'm going to open that up, and I'm going to see how that logo comes to me. So I need to check how this logo is actually, what design do they give me? Right, okay, so black and red. Okay, so they're giving me choices of black and red. So this will probably be an SVG, I'm thinking. So I'm going to download this zip. And again, I've got creative licensing to use this anyway. So it's an EPS. So I'm going to open that with Photoshop. Now, guys, some of you might not have Photoshop, and that's okay. But I'm just showing you what's possible. If you've got, there is other tools available that this product will work with. Okay, I'm going to have to do a lot more work here than what I would have done in the previous one. Okay.
Yeah, I think James, we can just make clear to our viewers and listeners that I know you're adept with Photoshop, but you don't need to be.
No,
There's
you don't.
so many tools online now, guys, that literally are so easy to use.
You've got GIMP,
like Canva being one of them.
You've got GIMP, which is free, which is quite like Photoshop. But again, this one, Tony, is really quite easy to use. You see, I'm au fait with this kind of stuff, but really, I'm going to go to the background eraser tool, right? And literally, I'm going to just click that all over the place. Right, okay, so I need to extend the size of the brush, because I make it so that it's literally a couple of clicks for the whole page. Right, so boom. So literally, I just go over the whole thing, and and literally that pretty much deletes everything I need it to do. And we don't need these texts here because we're going to be removing them. So that's it deleted. Okay, now all I'm going to do is change to eraser tool, and all I'm going to do is erase that text as well. So this is a little bit more work, guys, but this is how you get something that's a bit more unique than something that you get straight off the back of Canva. Okay.
Yeah, what I would say, James, is it doesn't do anybody any harm to learn basic Photoshop skills anyway. And especially on Udemy, there are training courses by experts, beginner training courses for literally $10–15.
Right.
That learn you the basics, within a curriculum of an hour or 2 hours.
Yeah.
So yeah, it wouldn't do you any harm whatsoever, guys, to take that sort of a course on board.
Absolutely.
And learn some basic Photoshop skills.
And that's all you need is basic Photoshop skills. Now, remember I was talking about the Rennie Mackintosh font. So I'm now coming into Google and I'm going to type in Charles Rennie Mackintosh, right? So I'll put that in, and I'm going to put in font, right? Because he has got a very famous type of font, and it's this one here with the kind of little dots and things like that. So we're going to go to find this font, and my fonts is usually free. So we're going to go in there and we're going to download that. So so it's this one here. Yeah. All right. Okay. We're looking for a free one. So that's good to know, because now we're going to type in free, because we like free, don't we, Tony?
Oh yeah. You can't get cheaper than free, James, can you?
Yeah. Not unless they start paying you to use it, and that's even better. So if we look at this strong Glasgow bold, that's what we want, right? So we're going to download that. Okay, because we want this to be a bold font. So open, and this is just the reason I wanted to show this full process is because we have got people in here that are going to benefit from this. So I'm installing the font. That's all I'm doing. Installing the font. Now I'm going to go back to Photoshop. And I'm now going to go in here and I'm going to type in strong Glasgow bold demo. Right. So there we go. We can now see that font. Yeah. So we're going to type in Glasgow gutters. Now, obviously, this is not the right color. We're going to use black on this so that it really pops. So we're going to change the color there to black. All you do is drag down to the bottom corner to go for as black goes. And that's at 70 points. So this is quite a big file. So let's go at 250 just to see how that looks. Too big, right? But it was just to give you an example. Oh, matter of fact, it's maybe not. It's probably spot on. Glasgow gutters.
That was a good guess. Very good.
That was a good guess.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put the S in there. Glasgow gutters. Now, do you see how this logo has took me a little bit longer, but it's much better, I think. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think to create what you've just created within 5 minutes is like amazing, to be honest.
So this is what I'm trying to show you, that spending that little bit of time learning a small piece of software, and all I've done was took a product that, again, I pay a monthly membership for. I removed the background. I like the colours. I wouldn't change that colour. I mean, in Glasgow, there's Celtic and there's Rangers, so maybe I would maybe go purple or something, or red. Maybe a red roof might be a better idea, because it then doesn't fall into the Celtic or Rangers kind of type problem that we have over here with sectarianism. But for the purpose, if I wanted to change this, all I would have to do would be go to a fill tool, which is, if I can find it, wherever it is. Anyway, there's this tool here, this one, paint bucket tool. Right. Okay, so if I wanted to change this to a red roof, I would just come up here to red and find the red I wanted. Now, I would probably want a red, but a muted red, because I would want it to look like red tiles. So something like that. And then press OK. So that's it. I now need to render that part. Now, is it going to work? No, it's not. So I'm going to background, I'll edit that, undo paint bucket. I should have done that before I added the other layer of the text. But at that, I'm just going to exit. I'm going to take that there, and I'm going to take that and export as a quick PNG. And that's it done. We're going to call that Glasgow gutters. Let's go gutters, and we'll put that on my desktop. Okay, and that's it pretty much, guys. So you can see, for the sake of 5 minutes, I would say always to everybody, spend hours, if not weeks, on the concept of what you want to do. And from there, then you can actually spend very little time actually doing it once you've got it all planned. You know that saying, measure twice, cut once. It's a bit like that. So now we've created a logo. I'm going to take you to my favorite animation tool. This is called Videos. And that is Victor India Delta Delta Yankee Oscar Zulu Echo.com. Now this is, you can pay a one-off fee and you get access to 100 to 150 different animations, or you can pay the monthly subscription. And we'll put a link below in the video for this product. So I'm going to go to logo, and I'm going to go sort by newest, right? Let's see what's new, right? Is there anything there that jumps out at me for a builder? The answer is no. So I'm going to now type in builder, because roofing and builder is all going to come under the same platform.
Yeah, there's a direct correlation, James, isn't there?
So here, look at this one here. There's a little intro there with somebody kind of measuring, cutting things.
Why don't you search for house or property or something like that?
House, property matter. Let's have a look at property. No, let's actually clear the decks. Let's go to all templates, and then let's go to property. Let's see what comes up with property now. See if we've right. Okay, so this is like how to sell yourself. So again, this is actually quite interesting. This gives you little kind of video templates. So you can actually put all your roofing expertise in here, customize it, and put your logo in and what you do. And you can put this up on YouTube or Facebook. YouTube first, then share it on Facebook. It's all about social syndication, guys. So for those that are listening just now, I'm looking at a little video that kind of shows your logo, little bits of information about stuff on a side menu while showing pictures of other things. So
yeah, I think if you were doing something for real estate, that'd be perfect, James.
Yeah, but again, that can be totally adapted. That can be totally adapted. So let's go back to logos. Right, and there's nothing really coming up there for logos on property. So we're going to clear that, and we're going to just look for newest. Let's go, let's have a look through these pages. And I know, guys, this might, for those of you that are not interested in branding too much, then this might not excite you as much as it does me. But what I will say is, if you get your branding right at the start, it's really going to serve you exceptionally well. And that's one of the things that you really need to think about. Putting in a little bit of time to kind of get the branding the way you want it, it's going to really serve you exceptionally well. So
yeah, if you're not a design orientated person, James, it can be a bit tedious, can't it?
Yeah, but, absolutely. I totally agree.
Whether you do this yourself, guys, or whether you outsource it to somebody with the expertise, it's super important. Branding is something that you need to really put a lot of consideration in.
Definitely.
For your product service.
Let's have a look at this one, Tony.
Sorry?
Want to look at this one?
Yeah.
It's quite clean. And then look at this one.
Yeah.
So these are quite simple. So they're quite nice. And let's just go one more page just to see if there's anything better than those two, just to get a feel for it. Okay. Again, this is quite sleek. Right, so I like that one. Let's go with that, yeah? So this is how easy this tool is to use. We're going to browse. We're going to upload a file. We're going to go to desktop. And we've got Glasgow Gutters. Open. Again, the color scheme, as you see, we are blacks and greens here. So when we go here, we want to look for similar colors. Now, if you really wanted to be completely pernickety and get the exact colors, this is the beautiful thing here. We're going to go back to Photoshop, and we're going to go and pick this color. And you see what that does? That gives us a hex code. If I copy that hex code, I can now take that back to the page, and our blue color is now going to be that green, that exact green. Okay, and we could probably create background white, and the other we will have this as black.
Yeah, I'll just mention as well, James, that again, for our viewers and listeners, that you don't need Photoshop to get the color codes, guys. There are plenty of browser extensions, especially if you use Chrome.
You don't
Free
even have to
browser
do that, Tony.
Sorry?
You don't even have to do that. You just go to Color Picker. If you Google Color Picker as well.
Yeah, you can get a color picker as well. But I particularly use a browser extension, but there's plenty of free ones. And as James just said, there's plenty of free color pickers as well.
So just looking at that now, I'm just going to hit continue. And I've now got options of sound. So play the first one. Quite nice. Let's see what's next. I prefer number 2. What do you think?
I'll go with your choice, James.
Right, I'll go with number 2.
Far better than me.
Well, previewing it now, and literally all we're going to do is when we get here, and as I say, this tool is pretty inexpensive. And again, I would definitely recommend anybody that wants to do any sort of kind of branding at all to buy at least the front end of this, even if you don't want to buy the monthly. If you're only
any sort of animated logos or
intros,
bookends for your videos, guys, intros, outros, all that sort of thing. There's not many tools, if any, out there better than videos. Yeah.
No, nothing touches this. It's for simplicity.
Yeah, I've got it as well, James. It's my personal preference as well.
Yeah, for me, I mean, to let you understand, guys, if you're watching the show just now, the intro and outro was built on videos for our podcast and our YouTube channels. Our YouTube channel, should I say, our shows. Obviously the other stuff. So we're now waiting on that coming with a preview. So as you can see, this doesn't take a lot of time to do. We'll have a wee chat just now while we're waiting on that rendering, Tony.
Just while that's rendering, James, what would you say are the main critical reasons why branding is so important?
Right. Well, people have got to identify who you are from a glance. There's so many people, we've seen at the .com boom with like purple grapefruit marketing. What the hell has purple grapefruit's got to do with marketing? And there is no such thing as a purple grapefruit. We've seen it like pink banana, and it's like, it makes no sense. It's a complete
what it is though,
concept.
it's memorable, isn't it? That's the thing.
It is memorable, but what's it memorable for? For me, I mean, I want a brand. I don't want to even have to read the text. I want to be able to look at the logo and know what it does.
Yeah. Again, you're talking more there about brand association.
Yes, brand association. Yeah, it is memorable. Yeah, I get that.
Look, this is where me and you are going to get a little bit. We've got a little bit of a different opinion on this, right?
And that's the best. Okay. I love that.
Does the McDonald's logo say they do burgers? Does the Coca-Cola logo say they do fizzy pop? No,
it doesn't. But
so
I'm going to suggest.
But do you think that crushes what you just said?
It kind of does, but allow me to go back and give you my validation.
No, I'm really interested in your opinion and why you think that way.
Right. Okay.
And I mean that sincerely.
I'm going to say that I'm assuming that most of my people that are watching and listening just now are people. They are not at the stages of creating something that globally recognized. Okay. Yeah. These global brands could change to a purple banana tomorrow and people would still go to the purple banana place for burgers. Yeah. But what I'm suggesting is that the people that are here just now really want to get customers fast. They want people to identify of who they are and what they do. And ultimately so that they can pick up the phone and use them, because Glasgow gutters that we've just created from something random that came out of your head says exactly what it is. It's somebody that does gutters.
And I totally, from that perspective, I totally agree with you. I think if it's a local service business, it's super important that you've got brand association with what that service is.
Wow. No, but if we were doing something different, I mean, if we went for something
again, it all boils down to different business types, James, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
If you're going for a global brand, you need to look at branding in a completely different way to a small local service area business. Yeah.
Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, if you've got money behind you to throw money at the brand awareness, you can have anything. You could have literally anything and you could make it successful, but it's down to how deep your pockets are. And I'm going to assume that the people that are watching our podcast right now probably don't have as deep a pockets as McDonald's and Apple and Coca-Cola. And
Well,
I might be kind of overstepping there, but I've got a feeling that they probably don't.
in all due fairness, James, if they did, they probably wouldn't be listening to us, would they?
Probably not. So, and I'm not saying that you're penniless, but what I'm saying is, if you don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars to get branding out there and get it aware, and then obviously get some custom to keep building. I mean, so much money goes into selling. I mean, the cost of people coming to McDonald's is $1.50 before they've actually bought anything, because of all the advertising campaigns they do. So for you to come in and buy a burger from McDonald's, they actually make a loss. If you don't buy the fries and the soft drink, if you don't buy the meal, it's likely they're not going to profit from you in that purchase. And that's how much money they put into the branding.
The famous meal deal, James.
The meal deal. Do you want to go large with that, Tony?
Yeah, and that's where they make the money on the go large, James.
Of course they do. That's it. That 30p or 40p.
I think they make an extra 40% on the go large.
Yeah, it's that incredible, guys.
Maybe, I may not be exactly accurate with that figure, but from memory,
it's massive. For that small figure of money,
difference, yeah.
But that small figure of money makes a huge difference to the process entirely, and that's what we're kind of talking about here.
Yeah. But that little debate we just had about branding there, I think that just shows you how you really got to take your branding seriously, depending on what your products or your services or your business type, your niche.
And I would expect that
branding can mean completely different things to different types of businesses, can't it?
Absolutely. And I would expect that a lot of the people that are listening to this and watching right now are people that from your mailing list and from my mailing list who are either online marketers already or local niche providers. So those people are probably and this one that we're creating right now probably makes a lot of sense to those people that are watching just now and listening.
What annoys the hell out of me with local businesses, and you don't see it as much now, but you certainly did, 10, 20, 30 years ago, was when it's Mr. Smith and Sons Bakers, Mr. Jones Plumber. There's no thought gone into the business branding whatsoever, has there?
Lazy, Tony. It's just lazy.
I mean, granted, we didn't have online back then.
No, we didn't.
So and it's again, a lot more prominent now, and it's a lot more necessary now, because you had more of a high street presence then, didn't you?
You did, because at the end of the day, at that time, your market was your local town, and everybody knew Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones does the best fresh bread, and Mr. Jones's son Dave Jones is now not Davy Jones's locker, but Dave Jones is now his son, and he's learnt from a master baker, and he's taken over the business. And Mr. Jones must be so proud of young Dave that's come into the business.
Yeah, it's more about the business passing through the generation.
Family branding, then, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's the family branding.
More about footfall because they had a high street presence.
Of course it is.
And more about referral, James, as well.
Of course, because if Mr. Jones's secret recipe for that bread that's super chewy and super salty and is great with soup might not be, the local baker that's just come into town, his bread might be sweet, and that's not to the village's taste because they've been eating Mr. Jones's bread for such a long time. Do you think it'd
be fair to say, though, that because obviously everything's switched, completely flipped, now more business is done online than offline?
Yes, absolutely.
Because of that, getting your branding right is imperative.
Yeah, and something, in some ways, Tony, it's went full circle because, like, everybody at one time wanted to be a big brand. After Mr. Jones and Son, people wanted to become this huge entity with no name and no kind of face to the brand. Right, so I'm going to come into that conversation in just a minute, Tony, just to let you see it's now shown as the samples how this is going to look in 4 different scenes. Okay, cool. And that's obviously how it comes out. So I'm now going to press create, and that's the process done, guys. So that's going to download, and while that is downloading, we'll continue this conversation. So basically, people wanted to become these huge entities because Mr. Jones's son had big aspirations. He wanted to be the global brand. He wanted to be Warburton's, but Warburton's kept their name. Warburton's kept their name. So he wanted to become a massive brand so that he could have a factory in every town or a massive factory and delivery outputs here, there, and everywhere. Think of your big supermarket chains like your Tesco's, your Walmarts, your whatever, all these different brands. They have got their faceless identities. Yeah. Now we're starting to see a comeback of the cottage industries as well, where not that they're going back to Mr. Jones and Son with no originality. It might be Perfect Bread by Dave, or it might be something like that. And then when we go to Dave's Perfect Bread website, we see a video about Dave's story, how his grandfather was a business and he done this and his father made it this way and it lost its personality. And he found his grandfather's secret recipes and he's now back creating sourdough by hand. And these loaves, he only creates 100 loaves per day, but these loaves don't cost 50 cents anymore. They cost $5. But these are the best loaves that you'll ever buy, and they're made fresh for you every single day. And you need to go and get it. He either delivers it by himself by hand and delivers it to your home, or you need to come nice and early to get it warm. We're starting to see a resurgence of that kind of branding as well. These new cottage industries where they're doing less work, less produce, but at a much higher price.
Yeah. And because of those increased profit margins, they can sell less, basically, can't they?
Absolutely, because again, when people like this guy were selling to big companies like the Tesco's and the Walmarts and things like that, the margin is so low that they're having to kind of kill themselves literally just to keep floating, and that's the concern. So
I think one of the things, James, I'd like to mention about branding and the importance of it is that one of the things I've noticed is that a lot of businesses with strong brands actually look like much bigger businesses than they actually are.
Yeah, absolutely.
The perception, because they've got such a strong brand, makes the potential customer think that, whoa, I'm dealing with quite a big company here, when actually it's probably just a small 2 or 3 person business.
Well, I'll give you an example of that in just a moment. But as you see, guys, that video is now rendered. So I'm going to click download, and you can download it as an MP4 or an animated GIF. Now, the benefit of downloading it as an animated GIF is when you're sending emails, you can actually have this animated at the bottom of your email, which looks absolutely incredible. Okay, so I'm just going to download MP4 just now, just to let you actually see what it looks like. Okay, and then we're going to come back to this subject, Tony. And
an animated GIF, guys, is basically, it's treated as an image, James, isn't it?
Yes, it's a series of images. It's almost like a, like those kind of flick books. Remember the flick book animations?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's a series.
I am sad to say old enough to remember those.
Right. Yeah, that was.
Thanks for reminding me. Cheers.
Sorry, buddy. So I'm going to show you what this video looks like and sounds like. So I'll stop talking just for a minute. Now, imagine. I'm going to play that again. Picture the scene. That has happened. It fades out and it says, somebody comes on the screen. Hi, I'm James Kennedy from Glasgow Gutters. If you're having problems with leaves stuck in your gutters or your gutters hanging off the wall and causing dampness in your wall, we can come and help with our friendly service between myself and my small team of colleagues. We can come and visit you in the Glasgow area. If you would like to get a quote, an absolutely free, no obligation quote right now, please hit the link below and send us an email or give us a call. We look forward to helping you very soon. Take care. Bye. And then that fades out again. Yeah. Now, that is
considering beautiful. You've just done that off the cuff.
Absolutely, off the cuff.
The link now, James. I'm buying your service.
Sorry?
I said, considering you just did that straight off the cuff, I'm convinced I'm clicking the link and buying your service now.
Brilliant. Well, I appreciate that. But it's just a friendly face. Look, we're professional. We've got a logo, right? There is fly-by-night people that come round the doors here in the UK. I don't know what it's like in America, but there's people that don't really kind of have established businesses. They run about in vans and they offer a tar your driveway or fix your roof and things like that. And some of these people genuinely, and the people I'm talking about, I actually know some of them personally who do an exceptionally good job and they get a bad reputation. But there is a lot out there that will take your money and not come back, or they will make a a mess of the job, and when you go to phone them, they've changed their mobile phone. Now, imagine.
That's not just in the UK or the States, James, is it? That's across the globe, basically.
Globally. Well, I can only speak from my experience that I know here in the UK. But what I will say is the fact that not everybody's the same. But if you had a video in animation like that, you turn up to do the job and you've got this embroidered in your polo shirt to give the person the quotation for the job. And you turn up with a branded van that says Glasgow Gutters, that's on your van. You give them a business card with this branding. They've got a landline, which obviously is a house number or an office number, as well as a mobile number, not just a mobile number. It lets you know that they're an established business. This is all given to credibility, and that's what branding does for you. It creates strong credibility and integrity, usually before you've even actually seen the person do the job. And that's what branding, in my opinion, is all about, creating that confidence in the brand before you've even actually bought the service. Because if you don't believe in the brand, you ain't going to buy it. That's my opinion.
There's a few different reasons, James, why it's so important, isn't it? And you've highlighted some there. But another couple of things are, it differentiates you from your competition, from businesses, your competitors. Yeah,
absolutely.
Also, it's building a relationship with your potential customers for, immediately and in the future.
Well, I mean, think of this company. This company is never going to be a global company. Why is that?
Because they're Glasgow Gutters.
They're Glasgow Gutters. So that tells you exactly what they are. They're from Glasgow. And now Glasgow has got over 500,000 people living in it, and around it probably another million on the periphery of Glasgow. So the person that runs this business could probably have a team of 100 to 200 members of staff and still not be able to kind of cover all the work that's available. Right.
They're branded for their local service area, James. If you live in Edinburgh, you're not going to call Glasgow Gutters, are you?
No, absolutely not.
You're going to call, who are you going to call? You're going to call Edinburgh Gutters.
No, you're going to call Glasgow Gutters, exactly. Right, right. But the reality is we have now shown the fact that we are in Glasgow and we specialise in gutters. I'm not Bob Jones, builder, jack of all trades, master of none. We are specialists in gutters. We can repair your gutters. We can clean your gutters. We can replace your gutters. Whatever you need, that is what we do. Because if your gutter's hanging off the wall and the water's pouring down the side of your wall, it's going to cause dampness. This could cause major defects to your house. One of the vans that I've just branded just passed me there. So that's quite funny. So anyway, that's basically what it does. So as you can see, guys, because now I've got a lot more experience in this than probably you have. I've been branding people for over 20 years. It's a fun thing for me. Even as a kid, I was into creative, Photoshop Deluxe or Photo Studio Deluxe and things on the Commodore Amiga and things like that many moons ago. So this has always been a fun thing for me. It was quick for me. But that piece of software to create that animation, anybody can use. Anybody can go and subscribe to something like Creative Fabrica and find a design. Anybody can go and open a free account in Canva. And it's pretty much as simple as that, guys. That's pretty much how simple it can be to create your branding. But
the thing as well, James, with videos, even if you only go for the one-time payment option, you've still got hundreds of templates.
I think it's about 150 to 200 templates.
And it saves a lot of the legwork for you guys. All these tools do. Canva's the same. You've got pre-made templates. They take away all the heavy lifting. You don't have to start anything from scratch. You've got the foundations already there for you.
Absolutely.
I think the other thing I'd like to sort of mention as well, James, about branding and why it's so important, that you take the time to do different concepts and try different color schemes and get feedback from people outside of your business, is that what does that say to your customers when you actually put that branding out there? What does it say about your business? It says professional.
Absolutely.
We're a professional company. We're a professional business. Use our services, buy our product.
And again, with that little video that we created there, anybody, now you can be the rough and ready Glaswegian guy that's but it doesn't take a lot for you to rehearse Hi, I'm James Kennedy from Glasgow Gutters. If you need a gutter repair or you just need your gutters cleaned, we are happy to help. If me and my team are ready to take your call now, click the link below or give us a call. We look forward to giving you no obligation.
You, mate, you'll be googling Glasgow gutters shortly and selling them now, won't you?
Yeah, I bet there is a Glasgow Gutters probably.
If not, they should be.
Tomorrow, I'll be setting up one of my friends that's not working at the moment up with a new business. The GlasgowGutters.com. Here we go. Now, incidentally, that was the thing I was going to talk about when we were rendering. You were talking about some companies look much bigger than what they are.
Yeah.
So as you know, me and you, Tony, have came from an entertainment background.
Yep.
And at one time, I used to have JKentertainments.com. Now, JKentertainments.com was a boo-boo for me because the .com was the ultimate domain URL, domain name. You know, you wanted a .com. You were nobody, never. And if you only had a .co.uk, it was because you couldn't. Somebody bet you to it. That was the reality. But I got JKentertainments.com. But I ended up going to .co.uk pretty quickly because I was getting people from San Diego looking for race nights and all sorts of crazy things. Yeah. And it was like, what a waste of opportunity this is, you know.
So if you, there's a lesson there, guys. Okay, if you cover a particular country, get the domain for your business with the correct country extension. We did SEO in the last episode. We covered SEO, you know, as best we could within the hour, James.
Yeah.
But yeah, just mentioning that now because it's relevant to branding. Choose the correct country extension for your business if you only service that country. Yeah. If you're global, then that's a different matter. .com super important. Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, if you've got digital products that you can sell globally, and again, if it's in English, which is the kind of the universal language of the internet, I'm afraid. I mean, we do have a lot of people that speak different languages, but ultimately, if you're creating a product to kind of get better coverage, you probably want to sell it in English. But again, obviously, people in China, Japan, etc., various other Spanish, there's still massive markets there as well. But the global language is English. You know,
one thing as well that again is relevant to branding, and we touched on this in a previous episode. I can't remember which episode it was, James, but if you are providing your product or service globally, content is part of branding, James.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You need to make sure that you're providing that in all the different languages that you're providing your product or service, you know, to the countries that you're providing that to.
Yeah.
I mentioned about the particular YouTube channel that had duplicated their YouTube channel content.
150 languages or something, wasn't it?
They created a different channel for every single language that they provided their service or product to.
And that's excellent, you know, and I mean, if you've got a product that literally is a global sensation and it can be used anywhere and language is not involved in the product without having to create a training course for every single thing in different languages. But that's definitely the way to go.
And James, it can sound daunting, but it's, again, with the software and the tools that are available these days, it really doesn't have to be. You know, with the transcription services, etc., you can automate a lot of the process of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, I mean, like Fiverr's your friend, Upwork's your friend. These places where you can actually get.
I think what we're trying to get across here, guys, is do not just, when you think of branding, do not think of just a logo. Think of audio. Think of all your social media platforms, your branding on that, and in your posts.
Incidentally, you know, once we've created that logo, we can use those fonts and things like that and create different headers, Facebook headers, YouTube channel, art, etc., all in Canva or whatever tool that you decide to use. Yeah. There's many tools.
I think what we're trying to get over is, you know, your branding needs to be consistent.
Absolutely.
Everything you do in your business, online or offline, yeah, it's got to be completely consistent,
as well as content.
Otherwise, it just causes confusion. Mm-hmm. And you know, if a prospective customer sees one particular brand type or one concept, and then you've got another concept out there somewhere, is that the same business? You know, it confuses them. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, Tony, I think we went over again as always, you know. I mean, but is it? I think
time flies when you're having fun, James.
That's the thing, we do enjoy our
the one thing I want to mention just before we finish up.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the tool, but there's a few different ones online. If you Google branding software, yeah, but there's a few tools out there, and there's one in particular, and it's annoying the hell out of me because I can't remember the name of it, and I really like it. But for future reference, guys, the Usign team have got branding agency coming out very soon, which is an amazing software. The one that I can't remember the name of, unfortunately, right now, is very similar to that. But what this allows you to do, James, you enter. It's like a funnel where you enter all the key information about your business, and it then creates a logo. It creates your intros and outros for your videos. It creates all your print ready stuff, all your social media branding, all in one go.
It's not this Graphic Beast one you're talking about?
No. Design Beast, I think you're talking
Beast,
about.
Yeah.
No,
right,
it's not that. That's several different separate tools. This is
okay.
one tool where you put all the key information about your business in the front end, click generate, and it generates every piece of content for your business.
Wow, that sounds either it's going to be, if it's good, it's going to sound really expensive, and if it's average,
it is a subscription. I can't remember the cost, but again, if you want something that's going to automate this entire process for you and allow you to make it, a very graphically tedious job very easy, then it's worth the money, isn't it?
Absolutely. Tony, I think the time this video gets uploaded and edited and front end, like the video animation intro that we've done on videos, and
I will find the URL to this particular software that I'm talking about, guys, and I'll put it in the recommended resources on our website. So make sure you go and check it out. Yeah.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to that because we'll have links here for videos and Creative Fabrica as well.
Yeah, and Canva. We'll put all those in the resources as well, James. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much. It was great to kind of be someone who kind of knows about a lot of this, because usually, as you know, I'm always picking Tony's brains constantly. So it was nice to be able to kind of share some of my insights for you. I left absolutely no stone unturned. I showed you the things that I do for other businesses and friends and family on a daily basis to help them build their branding. It's something I'm quite passionate about. Just remember that obviously it might have took me 5 or 10 minutes to do these bits, but it could take you a little bit longer. But spend 90% of your time getting ideas and a vision of what you want, and then create variations of that vision, create multiple things and put it out there and ask your friends and family. And remember, don't take one person's advice alone. One person's advice alone is just the same as your advice. You need more people to give you insights so that you can actually get a general feel for what the people want, and not just...
And it's important that it's people that are nothing to do with your business, James.
Absolutely.
So you're getting an honest, value,
unbiased view. If your brand is much better than another person's, they say, oh no, don't do that, you know.
And the only thing I would say before we do finish is, guys, if you've got any branding questions, we're more than happy to answer them. Leave comments below the video. We appreciate that. We will personally respond to any questions that you may have about branding.
Definitely. And again, if you've not subscribed on our channel yet to our list, again, we will not, and we repeat this every single week, we will not be spamming you. We'll only send you free stuff and offers when we think it's something that is relevant to our audience here on Those Two IM Guys. So please sign up to that as well, and share the channel, share the podcast with your friends and family, people that you think can benefit from it. The more support we get, the longer we are going to be here, and the more effort and time we're going to put into this project. We love yous. We want to give you as much value as we can. Again, on occasion, we put an affiliate link in here and there, but really, for what the time and effort that we put into this, it's not a monetary goal for us. It's all about giving value. So, anything else to add, Tony?
I can't reiterate that more, James. You hit the nail on the head, and that's the way I would say it exactly.
Awesome. Well, thanks once again, Tony, for some of the thought-provoking kind of objections and kind of views of yours, because and I always say this to people, see if you've got a friend that agrees with you or a business partner that says, oh, yes, that's brilliant. You're never going to gain value from that person. You need them to question you. You need them to challenge you. You need them to say, play devil's advocate. Why are you doing it that way? And you really need to kind of get that stuff out there, because if you don't, you won't grow.
Yeah, totally. We're real people. Yeah,
absolutely.
Guys, believe it or not, we're real people. Hi.
Hello there.
You know, you don't know everything. I don't know everything. But what between us, we probably know 99% more than most people. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
but the subjects we're discussing, yeah, and the topics.
We're fanatical about the stuff we do.
You know, you can trust in what we say, guys. Yeah. This comes from the heart. You know what I mean? When we're talking about branding, we've had to go through this entire process ourselves many different times for ourselves and clients. So we know what we're talking about, yeah? We're not branding experts, we're not claiming to be, but we can certainly point you in direction and give you a good overview of the basics, yeah?
Absolutely. Well, it's been a fantastic session, Tony. Again, we always run a little bit over when we've got something we're passionate about. So thank you all our listeners for listening. Thank you all our viewers for watching. And we look forward to seeing you all on the next episode of Those Two IM Guys. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.